AITA for telling my parents I don't care if they're homeless now after they were cruel to my kids. I 40F am an only child, and my parents don't have any friends or anybody but me. I have 6 kids, 19M, 16F, 13M, and my 10-year-old twins, B and G. My parents have always been a bit mean to me and my kids because I got pregnant very young and went through some tough times before I met my husband and we got married. But I gave my parents money from the security payments I got for my developmentally delayed twins to help them during the pandemic when they needed it. I figured that since I gave them so much money, they would be kind to me and my family, and they were never this nasty before. So when they asked to come and stay with me and my family while they figure out their house situation, I said okay. I should have known better. My twins are developmentally delayed and very small for their age, and a lot of people think they are slacker 6-year-olds when they are almost 11. My son, 19M, has a gender non-conforming expression. My parents knew all of this, and they know my kids because they have met and spent time with them before, and they never mentioned these kinds of issues or acted like this before. But when my parents got to my house, they were immediately nasty to my kids and tried to tell me that I left my 19-year-old slacker in charge of all my kids just because of his gender expression. That I am not helping my 10-year-olds by not forcibly potty training one and ignoring their delays. That I let my daughter dress and act slutty and rebellious, calling my 616M some things that I have never heard a decent person call another decent person because he was getting an unusual drink that even I hadn't heard of out of my fridge, and relaxed in a chair the way he was when they came in. I threw my parents out and told them that I don't care if they go get wet and miserable in a tent in the mountains with no money because of how they were acting to my kids. One of my mom's friends, who she presumably borrowed a phone from, told me that I have to let them come back and I need to stop being so cruel to them because they were so good to me when I was little and later when they left me in their house. Am I wrong for telling them to leave for that and refusing to take them back? Next story. AI20F for yelling at my mom, 46F, for being cautious about revealing her past. For context, my bio mom and dad divorced when I was about 3 and my little brother was on the way. I have no memories of them as a couple. My bio dad was emotionally abusive and lived with his mom until I was 5, when I had told my mother that my dad wasn't feeding me very much. My mom's best friend was essentially my second mom. She fed me, they had a good friendship with healthy boundaries, etc. But eventually, my mom started getting tired of her friend's neediness and met my stepdad. My stepdad, who I call Dad because he's been a real father to me, is a kind man, but can often yell needlessly and take a kind approach on many things. He is a mixed embodiment of his parents. My mom put me and my brother out of counseling when he came into her life because he thought therapy was useless. My bio dad has 3 kids of his own, one of whom I have met once. I have also met my bio dad's wife, and she is really kind, but she doesn't understand the person that her husband really is. They live in another state. About 3 years ago now, my stepdad was separating from my mom because my brothers claimed she's been doing drugs with my bio dad's stepsister at a store she owns. The stepsister does drugs, but my mom has been clean from MJ for a while, and because I researched our family tree, but not both biological families, just divorce papers for my stepdad. We had a nanny at that time, and our family felt fake. After they reconciled, we likely cannot let my dad know about my mom's deal with biodad. My biodad is essentially broke. His family paid for his wedding, for instance, and owed $7,000 in child support he started paying back 2 years ago. While my mom was getting food stamps, my biodad was working and living with his parents, and jail was a possibility if he didn't pay. My mom had to talk to him about financial stuff at the time, and didn't let my dad know. I yelled at her the other day because she masked it under a lie of wanting to know if the girl my biodad married was going to be okay for her grandchild. My biodad doesn't know we're expecting because my mom doesn't want to tell him. I think my mom should be honest with my dad about the whole ordeal, and if she has to live on her own again, that's her issue to deal with. AITA? Next story. AITA for cancelling a Zoom call with my friend's dad after she called me crying? This is really complicated, but I'll do my best to be concise. I, 25F, am doing some freelance work for my friend's father because her dad was in a jam and needed a quick turnaround for a sizable amount of work. The issue is that he's a massive jerk and has been disrespectful to me right out the gate. He has been skirting a number of worker rights compensation laws by just tossing me work all willy-nilly, even after I've laid down some basic boundaries and availability. Basically, he's been completely unprofessional and abusive, same way my friend describes him to be. I only agreed to work with him after she pretty much begged me and assured me she could rein him in if needed. Anyways, I get a call from my friend yesterday, and she's crying because her dad is berating her, asking her where I am and to come online. Mind you, we have no scheduled meeting. He just randomly asked if I could jump on and continue to discuss work this upcoming Sunday. I don't even want to take the trash out on Sundays, let alone discuss work with a raging chauvinist/forever victim like my dad. So, I go to get online because I don't want him breathing down my friend's neck any longer. But then, upon reflection, I decided to wait it out a bit to see if he'd emerge from his victimization spikes on the other end with some logic and understanding. Nope, he proceeds to scream at my friend more until she hangs up on him. When she calls back, she has the nerve to say, "Can you do us both a favor and jump on the call with him, please, just so we both can get him off our backs?" When I reminded her that we're going to be meeting with him on Monday, she goes, "Well, yeah, we are." "You have no idea," I replied. "You have no idea." At that point, she assured me everything would go smoothly when working with him and that she'd have my back if it didn't, which she clearly did not. I ended up telling her I was driving 15 min to my destination, a bold-faced lie, but it's not like I haven't done it for him before, so she should tell him I'll jump on in 15. I hung up and called my aunt to discuss this BS, just for my friend to shoot me a text going, "My father does not want anything to do with you any longer. He says to me that he was not only doing you a benefit and a favor, and now you choose to screw us over. Sorry, female, my name. That is not forgetting." Now I will say I had a red flag about all this when I discovered her father is misogynistic, and he berated me all causally out of the gate. I was told it as, "His tensions are so high, bullshit," and to me, that's 100-to-1 excuses for a manipulator. But the bigger issue is, her father literally told her, her words not mine, he has no use for her now, because he observed her to be a rock and a support to me over him, and he lost all trust and respect for her. I don't know what to say. Should my friend even return to her father after hearing this? Next story. AITA for telling my sister that she overreacted to our neighbor telling my niece to be quiet? I, 40F, live on a street adjacent to a middle school. For the most part, the kids are not a problem. I work from home, and my fiancé, 37M, is home mid-afternoons, and we haven't had issues. We're good friends with a guy, Steve, 50s, who lives across the street, as he and my fiancé commute together.